Right. Every time you hear that, you kind of just like, yo, this kind of go in, right?
It's groovy. It's
It's
groovy.
got a
For sure.
groove. It's got a groove to it, man. Like, anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about.
I had the drums in mind, so I was no matter what.
No, for real. Like
Oh,
every
man.
time I put the countdown, dude, it's like I'm over here like doing my thing. I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it's maybe even the fact that you really like, that's all it is. Really, it's just that countdown. Like you don't know what else to do. But it is. At
right,
least you
right,
can
like
thank StreamYard for having that being groovy and for
right.
having.
A groovy intro, a bass package intro.
Right.
Anyways, um, you know what it is for those who've been tuning in. I'm trying to do this on a frequent basis, but here we are. It's Monday, so the topic of discussion is movies. Movie Monday, man. Movie Monday. Um, so obviously, as much as I would love to continue talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League because that is my thing, and there's plenty of things to talk about surrounding the Snyderverse. Um, like for
Right.
instance, the fact that HBO Max was trending, or not HBO Max, Deathstroke on HBO Max was trending today.
Mm.
Um, but apart from all that beautifulness, um, Godzilla versus Kong. That is the movie that we are going to be discussing today. Um, let's just get this out the way. Full honesty. Who, or matter of fact, I did say we're gonna do a spoiler-free review, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, at least while you're here with us, I'm gonna keep it spoiler-free for anyone who hasn't seen it and is curious about it, or I don't know, you decided not to go see it yet, or I don't know, you need an opinion. Well, here's going to be our opinion, spoiler free.
You need the answers.
Right. I'll probably dive into some spoiler territory a little bit later, but to start it off, we're gonna stick spoiler free. Um, but with that being said, going into this film or before it came out, were you Team Godzilla or you Team Kong?
Uh,
Like, I don't even want to kind of insinuate anything with the question I'm about to ask, but just were you, Team Godzilla or Team Kong?
Godzilla. I mean,
Okay.
to me that's like OG for sure. Like, I mean, that's even before my time, to be honest, I should say. But like, I definitely grew up with it.
Right.
Um, I got into King Kong really the first time when it came out, or well, I shouldn't say the first time. Obviously, those that was very very old, but I should say the remake, with
Right,
Jack Black.
right.
That was the first time I really even got into involved into King Kong's world. So,
Right, right.
but yeah, Team Godzilla all the way. That's me.
Okay,
I
okay.
gotta say it. Definitely like the beam.
Right,
The
right. You can't.
it,
That and the roar. The roar is just
the
iconic,
roar. Yeah, exactly. The roar too is just really iconic. Very it hits. No, it's not nostalgically. It should just hit right away to anybody
Right, 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 right. Go
hearing
ahead.
that roar. Oh, I can't hear you, man. I
That was
think you
me.
got.
That was me. I just had to mute the mic right quick.
Oh, I
But
was like, man, I don't know if he's asking me something. I'm trying to like stay quiet as possible, making sure it's not like my end. But
no, 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 no. It
I
was,
mean,
it
how
was.
about yourself? Like, what were you? You Team Godzilla? I mean, I could already
I'm Team
but
Godzilla, bro. I'm
yeah,
Team
I
Godzilla.
know,
You
I
know.
know that.
I was letting everyone know, like, yo, Team Godzilla, Team Godzilla, Team Godzilla, all the way. Nothing against Kong, but I'm sorry, I just don't see him doing anything against Godzilla, in my opinion.
Right.
This isn't, you know what I'm saying? This isn't Batman versus Superman. Kong isn't Batman. You know what I mean? Like,
But
you
like
know,
in almost in a way, like like I could understand if anybody made that reference. I almost understand it, but
almost, but almost isn't
almost.
enough.
But
All right,
it's like
it's just
no,
not
it's not.
enough.
No, like
Because
definitely.
again, I will say this again: Kong is not Batman. I'm sorry, he is not a prep master king. You know what I mean? Like, no, none of that. I ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? That's not
Yeah,
what I'm trying to hear. You
yeah.
know. Um, so like, yeah, those who are making that point, like, well, Batman beat Superman, Kong can beat Godzilla. Like, no, it's not the same thing. You know,
Right.
Batman is the prep master. You know what I mean? He is the prep master. That dude knows so many forms of martial arts. Like, they just don't compare. I'm sorry, they
I
do
mean,
not compare. It's not the same thing.
alone intellect is definitely. I know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
just to
right,
let you know, one is really animal instincts, and the other one is,
exactly.
intellect, actual knowledge.
Right, exactly. So I'm
Oh,
Team Godzilla all day, every day. Um,
you might hear my cat. It just entered the room.
your cat thinks
Oh,
he's got a fighting chance against these guys.
right, right.
But look, spoiler free review. Like I said, for those who haven't seen the movie, we do not want to spoil the movie for you. Um, so and all that to say that, in my opinion, it is a movie you want to go see. Whether you want to go to the theater, whether you want to just catch it on HBO Max, either way it goes, it is a movie you want to see. Um, you know, am I is it the greatest movie? Probably not. You know, it's got its flaws in my opinion. In my opinion, you know, things that I probably would have done different. You know, I guess without saying too much, I just wish, or I feel as if they could have actually built up to this moment way better.
Mm,
You know, because this movie in its own right, considering, I mean, that intro, without talking about the intro, it kind of like hypes you up. You know what I mean? When you're getting into the film, it's like, yo, like, okay, but like then it still lacks because it's like, man, this is a great hype. But the truth of the matter is Kong only got one film. You know what I mean? And he only faced one kaiju compared
yeah,
to the numbers of kaijus that
Godzilla has.
Godzilla had faced to
I
this
mean,
moment.
you know what? Like, I believe this movie is I, I think it's a must watch, and I'll tell you why. I think it's a must watch because I believe it's like I said in the beginning, it's just the answers that you're looking for. um, uh, you got to watch the movie, and I, again, like I said, it's a must watch to get the answers that you're really looking for. Really, like King Kong versus Godzilla.
Who's the man?
Um, I could only we're only spitting facts. We're only spitting stats. We're in comparison. It's like almost having Logan Paul fighting Floyd Mayweather. Oh man. Oh man. Oh
I
man.
mean, you went there. You went there. Um,
But
but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
you know what I'm saying? So, I think it's a must watch, you know, to because I mean, I think it's definitely, I mean, regardless of the fact, I think it's a good family movie as well.
Right. No,
Um,
yeah, it is.
I,
It's got a lot of jokes in there. That
right.
they definitely gave it a big comedic relief. You know, is that my cup of tea? Like, do I need that in a film? No, not necessarily. But to me, it doesn't break the film either.
Right.
Like, you're not on an overall scale. You know, some things were probably forced. Some jokes were probably forced, like or
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
some sort of comedic acts were forced. Like
Yeah.
could have gone without that. But again, still, I feel, in my opinion, it's a must see film. I think the fight choreograph, like or I don't want to say choreograph because it's all CGI, but to fight sequence was for me personally, I thought were like
Oh yeah. Oh
superb,
yeah.
superb. CGI is good on that note, in this film. Um,
I
you
I
know,
put it this way. It's definitely like up to date for
yeah,
sure. You know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying? Like you don't look back on it and you're not like thinking like, man, like it's definitely
Mm-hmm.
like you definitely see that they use the better technology, the newer and new and improved.
Right, right.
Definitely. You definitely
Yeah,
see this in this movie. You could tell it's different, it's new. Um I mean, even Godzilla, in a way, in a manner. I feel like Godzilla has like in this movie for sure. Like he has his different like uh uh ways of being than like the old movies. Man, I don't want to spoil
mm,
it so much, right? But
right.
but but reality is though like it's like you almost have like a almost like just a tiny bit like just like a scratch new Godzilla almost but I feel like the way they just really made him.
Right.
Uh, but again, I didn't really complain on the fight scenes. I don't I'm the movie overall. I think I mean, at this point, are we gonna rate it like, numerically, like 1 out of 10, or.
You could do, what would it be, 1 out of 10? What would it be, 1 out of 5? What would it be in a grading scale, percentage wise? What do you want to get? Like how you give your numbers, you give your grade, you give your rating, however you like, my friend. So
Um,
you can give it the star rating.
right. True, true, right. Man, honestly, I guess if I was gonna go from like 1 out of 10, I'd give it like a solid like 7 for
Okay,
sure. But like
okay.
a high 7, I guess. Maybe like a 7.5.
7.7,
7 point, what I'm saying?
7.8.
Right, right in there. But it's definitely a solid 7 for me.
Okay.
Just because I just feel, obviously, like you said, I mean, it's not like one of the
Yo, what's good, Marco, man? Sorry, just sees the Sama
greatest,
Bueno
man.
comment.
No, what's
Yeah.
up? What's up? Um, I think, I mean, like you said, it's not the greatest, like movie of like all time, but for the time of it being out now, I think I'll give it a good 7.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I want to give it a solid 8. I want to give it
Mm,
a solid 8. Like I said, there's a lot of things that it's got going for itself. Um, Again, the only reason it's not getting an A+ or a 10 for me is because I feel there's things that I didn't like in the film.
right.
Um, I feel it was really compressed,
Mm.
very rushed in a sense almost.
Yeah, for sure.
Personally, in
Especially
my
the fight
opinion,
scenes.
yeah, it could have been a bit longer, I guess. More longer sequences, but I'm not like, again, but the fighting was dope. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
yeah, no. I mean,
um,
it's not
I
like it's not like they had a sucky fight, like where it was, oh man, like that was horrible, like it was actually a good fight, but like you said, like I feel like there could have been a number of possibilities that maybe
right.
they didn't want to choose those and like just really just shrunk it down, which I think, yeah, you have a good point. Maybe I mean in an area I feel like, yeah, it was a little bit too short.
Yeah, like, they could. I just feel like that story was something they could have built up to.
Right.
It's like, if you are gonna compare it to something, the best comparison, I guess, is Batman versus Superman. But
Right,
even
right.
Batman versus Superman, like the theatrical version, was kind of, I guess, slandered because it was like there was things that were missing. When you get the Ultimate Edition, it's like you get a full understanding of the story plot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like it's kind of like that's what you get with this. It's like you have to ask yourself, is there more? Is there more out there somewhere? Is there more to this movie? You know,
Right.
could they possibly have built up to this moment better, especially on Kong's end, for him to be like really a worthy adversary? You know what I mean? Like,
You know,
um, and
man,
some will say like, well, Batman didn't, but he did. You know what I mean? Like, Batman lore. You know what I'm saying?
he did.
It's you know what I'm saying? Like, it's out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been done. What I'm saying, what Batman can do.
Right.
Um, and you know, how do I put it? Like that, and that's not even the build up in that movie. In this movie, that is the idea. The idea is that it's about who is the bigger, badder alpha. You know.
Right.
So, and that's what I mean. So you kind of you do have to like come correct with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you said it best. Like it's kind of like this new fight coming up with you
Logan
know,
Paul and Mayweather.
yeah, Logan Paul and Mayweather. It's like the stat sheets don't even add up. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's kind of ridiculous that Mayweather's even doing this because it's like, man, dude, like, how many fighters did you dodge because they didn't face the best of the best? You know what I mean? Like, it's
I
just,
know.
it's
Like,
just what it is. Like, so it's
you know,
like if you're gonna face this guy who like doesn't really have a
his record is 0-1-1, dude.
you know what I mean? So come on, man. Don't
Compared to his, what is he on 42 or 40? Like, what was it? Like,
I don't even.
oh, and
Oh,
oh, like, cause really, like,
dude, that's what
this
I'm
guy,
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like this guy doesn't really have any professional fights under his belt, like real professional fights. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
and that's what I'm trying to say. So like that's what I'm trying to get at with this whole Kong versus Godzilla thing in this movie. It's like the only things he's faced was the skull crawlers
dollars, and yeah,
in Skull Island. It's like, but like, I'm not trying to get into the spoiler just yet, but I just felt I could have done a better job leading to this moment of these two alpha titans going at it. Uh,
right.
Anyways, and again, I don't want to get into spoiler territory. We can just a bit, but like, because it's not like it's a lot to discuss. This movie's really not
Yeah,
that long. You know what I
it
mean? And
really isn't that long, no,
that
exactly. Like,
which is
and that's the
surprising.
thing, like, it's really like a spoiler with one word, you
Yeah,
know.
really,
But,
really is. So,
but,
but the score too, I want to say was good. The
oh,
movie score, the music in that movie was just was not subpar, it was on par. It was beyond par.
I
It was
think so.
great. It was great. I want to say it was this guy Tom Holkenberg, which makes sense as to
Hmm.
why the movie score was good in that movie. So like I said, it has a lot of things going for itself, regardless, and that's why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I'd probably give it a 3.8 out of 5, maybe yeah, 3.8 out of 5. I'll give it like an A minus. You know what I'm saying? An A minus.
Yeah,
B plus, A minus. You know, I'm gonna go with an A minus just to be more considerate. Um, yeah, yeah. It's still a good movie. I enjoyed it. Like I said, the fight sequences are great. Um, CGI is good. The music's good. Again, I just feel the story plot, the writing there could have been more. You know what I'm
it
saying?
could have
Like
been more.
I'm opposite of what everybody else is saying. I'm seeing it a lot of people like saying like, oh, could have done without humans, less humans. It's like, but I feel like it's like you're asking
How?
for a
Like,
Marvel movie. Yeah, like that's my whole like. You know
how?
what I'm saying? You want to see something without casualties, and it's like And I think that's what bothers me. You know what I'm saying? It's like I prefer seeing the casualties. I like seeing
That's
the
realistic.
casualties of, yeah, the realisticness of two monsters existing
Monsters
in
just
our world.
destroying a city, really, you
You know
know?
what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, let's get off that nonsense of less humans. You know, it's like, come on. Like, what are you saying? You know, like, um, I mean, if that's the case, like, you'd have to take it back to like the jungle or to the desert or something. And you know what's funny, dude? Those fights would look less um epic,
Intriguing. Yeah,
less
no,
intriguing
yeah.
because like, oh, trees are getting knocked down. Oh, the dust storms happening because they're both slamming to the floor. Like, come on, man. Like,
Right.
stop with your nonsense. You know, it's like this is retarded. You know, you need them to fight in the city to make it more epic, so that because the casualties need, like, yo, they're destroying buildings. You know, like that's why even like the fight sequences with like General Zod and Superman and Man of Steel are epic because they're literally touring up Metropolis. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It just makes it look way more intriguing. It makes them more involved into our
Yeah.
world. You
And
know what I
yeah, no, it
mean?
makes them look, it definitely shows strength too, you know, like it
Exactly,
just,
because they're knocking down these buildings that are like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, you know, yeah, I'm tired of hearing that. I'm tired of hearing that. You know,
yeah, they want
um,
Dragon Ball Z
yeah,
where
they
it's
want Dragon,
you know what
right?
I'm saying,
They
where it's
want some
always
Dragon Ball Z stuff
somehow
going
in
on.
the middle of nowhere, always.
You're right, always. It's never in a big city, and what it is, yeah, you know, it's crazy. Um, that's a good one. Um, but yeah, but all that to say, like, just to keep it spoiler free for now, like, again, I'm giving it a 8.10. I'm giving
And
it a
being that
minus.
tomorrow we're gonna have a all spoiler, right?
All spoiler. I mean, I'm gonna do a little bit tonight, you know. But
Alright,
I do have other guys that wanted to just discuss this movie with us, so we'll
okay,
probably do that tomorrow, like a more just going more into the spoilers, talking more about the film,
right.
maybe the monster verse as a whole thing, you
Oh,
know.
wow, okay.
Um, but yeah, for right now, just that was our spoiler free review. If you haven't seen it and you're curious if it's worth the watch, it really is. It's, in my opinion, it's still worth the watch,
I think
despite
that.
the minor discrepancies. You know,
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's worth the watch, especially if you're invested into the MonsterVerse. Um, that's been getting built. Like I said, you might find the disappointments that I find in it, just because again, it's like you want this MonsterVerse to be full of richness, um, because it deserves that.
Right.
Um, but nonetheless, this is still worth the watch. It's still dope as hell to see Kong and Godzilla go at it. Um, Depending whose side you're on, you know, I think I think if you're just a fan of one over the other, you still should watch this. I think if you're a fan of both, you'll love this. If you're a
Oh
fan
yeah.
of kaiju films, this
Oh
is
yeah,
it. This
because
is it.
this I mean even then like yeah, you're right. Whether one or the other, like you kind of get you get nostalgic feelings with both of them, regardless. Like
Right.
on you know, oh man, it's so hard not to spoil, but definitely, it's
Yo,
just
yeah. Look,
again, yeah,
I'll say this: we can get into some spoilers. We just don't have to get into all of it. We can get into some spoilers, but like, let's just keep this point right here spoiler free. So for anybody, I don't mind talking a little bit about the spoilers because personally, like, there's not a lot really to talk about in my opinion. The movie's not that big. You know what I mean? It's not that there's not a, you know, it's not that long. I feel like you can kind of sum it up, like you said, with one word, and you know, and kind of just like 1 to 2 to 3 scenes, and you know, I think we could all agree that these are the points and the aspects of why we're saying what we're gonna say. But yeah, overall, I'm giving it an A minus. What are you gonna give it, grade wise?
grade wise, I'll give it a I'll give it a B minus.
B minus. Okay, still a good grade, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's not bad. Honestly, again, like it's I I to me, I wouldn't watch anything that's lower than like a D. That or that's to say that I've watched probably C pluses and stuff. But I think I'm really. I mean, again, like with the score, it'll probably bump itself to like a B. But like you know, I don't know. I also have it's like I don't know. I also have you know, I guess my dislikes of it, as well.
Right.
And just I guess yeah, like you said, I guess it was just more of a reminder too. Yeah, I think it was definitely for me. It was like it was short, uh, uh, and really, honestly, again, like I think the fights there's some like I mean, and again, I think it just has to do with the timing.
Right.
I'm it's really I feel like the fight scenes could have had some more things to it added to it. And maybe even the story as well. It's like I felt like they again, like you said, they rushed it really. Like you could have really seen more. Obviously of their origin.
Let's
Uh,
let's just talk about it, bro. Look, look. Let's just talk about it real quick. It's not to so anybody who just hasn't seen the movie, go watch it. Just go watch it. Go to the theater. Go to HBO Max. If you haven't seen this movie, it's still a good movie to go see. Um, it's worth the watch. But
right at
for
this
anyone,
moment, it's
yeah, this
27 minutes. We're
yeah,
at spoiler. We're on spoiler zone.
we're spoilers on it, and we're gonna touch them real quick. You know what I'm saying? And just because I want to hear exactly what you have to say about this, I want to kind of get it off my chest. You know what I mean? Uh, so yeah, we're in spoiler territory. If you haven't seen the movie, now's the time to leave. You know, we're about to get into it. So with that being said, you've been forewarned. Let's go. Let's get into this. Um,
Whoa.
yeah.
I guess to start it off. Uh, Again, we're spoilers. And I just keep it
Right.
going and like it's until like a whole 3 minutes. No, like I said, one word describes it all, and that's just Godzilla. That's that right there should say it. And for those who decide to skip at this very moment, I'm so sorry. Uh, but yes, I mean, again, I really would like. I mean, now that you're telling me that there's people that want to talk about it, I really, I guess, would like to save some stuff to
Mhm.
talk about with you guys. So, like, I guess the one thing for sure I'd like to talk about was, like I said, for the fight scenes, like, there's definitely like empty spaces where, like, like in a fight it could have gone different ways, and I felt like, I mean, again, I was Team Godzilla, but I felt like
Right.
in a way they little bit just downplayed King Kong, just a little bit, But again, I feel like maybe it was just because of timing, like maybe just they felt like they weren't gonna have a good review because of timing. But I felt like King Kong could have put in a little bit better fight. As far as the fact that he randomly, ends up getting his weapon and his his Mjolnir somehow, like
Mjolnir.
but like especially with that, like so that was a whole like that's even an even more brand new King Kong than what I know,
Right,
So
right.
I felt like with that they should have at least or introducing that they should have at least showed me that he could have had a better chance. But like at that point, he just showed me how much more dominant and superior Godzilla really is.
And it's funny though because like I feel the opposite way. You
Really.
know, yeah, I feel they downplayed Godzilla just to make it seem like King Kong had a fighting chance.
Like it should have been like it should have ended way faster in a way.
Well, it's not wait. It's just that some things just didn't make sense to me. Like, you know, I mean, look, no, I'm not gonna say that it was like again. I actually enjoyed the fight scenes, but some things I was kind of like thrown off by. I'm like, how's this guy grabbing Buddy from the back when he's got like a bunch of spikes that should be irritating the crap out of his armpit right now? You know what I mean? Like, that just didn't make sense physically. Like, you know,
Well, with that being said, like I feel like okay, like in that moment, like for example, to put it in this perspective, like let's say if you're in a fight, right, and obviously you don't want to lose, so like you're gonna do,
like I'm just
you know, like in every desperate measure, you're gonna like do everything you can, and that's why I felt like they really
I
didn't give
mean,
him a
that
real
was the only sense I made of it myself too. Like, yeah, like desperate times call for desperate measures. He doesn't care if he's getting stabbed in his armpit by all these spikes. You know, look, man. It, it, look. I'll say this much too. Like, um, even with the axe thing, it was like you said, something I've never seen before. I felt it deserved more of a backstory.
That
You know,
okay? That's
this
what I meant. That's one. You know, I didn't. That's something. But again, that's something I really wanted to more talk about with other people. I don't know. Maybe if there's King Kong fans, that we're gonna talk to that really could actually even go more about that. But
and
from
then
what I know, I have never seen the original. Like, and I'm
right.
talking about even before I was born, original. I've never seen that King Kong with any form of weapon besides the fact that he climbs a building, you know?
Yo,
Uh, but, uh, so, I mean, coming out, like, with that being said, you have his weapon, it's like an axe, hammer, slash, I don't even know. But, whatever the weapon is, like, one somehow it's powered like and then it's powered by Godzilla's beam, like what
right. That's yeah. It was
now
that's what
like
I
to me it's
mean.
like
It was a bit weird, but I mean, don't get me wrong. Like they kind of insinuate that in the like when he's there and it's like charging off the floor or something. Off the
no,
atomic
right.
energy. So I guess that's what makes sense about it. But again, it's like it's one of those things where it's like I would have loved to get more
So to
backstory
me
on
this is like
the rivalry between Godzilla's and Kong's, because apparently there's a rivalry there that ages way back, and it was kind of like one of those things where it's like supposedly these the lore is out there, but they didn't explain that. Like I
right,
like how they did that in King of the Monsters. Where the doctor, one of the or one of the I don't know researchers or whatever, she goes out of her way to look for lore surrounding
right.
Gamora,
Uh-huh.
or Ghidorah, I mean, and
I like that they brought that back too, like low key, but
yeah, that was cool too. But at the same time, I was a bit like, huh? Like
I I just didn't understand why they well one I just didn't understand why they only or
use the
well
head as like a psionic thing or something like that, right? Is that exactly
yeah,
what?
like instead of using it like part of what I mean.
No, yeah, because you're expect because like I think a lot of us were expecting Mecha Ghidorah. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because it's like we saw the head at the end.
right.
Um, and I gotta say that's what I was expecting too. But instead we got Mecha Godzilla, but yet it was somehow through Ghidorah's head that they were, which I still didn't. I gotta go back and see it as to why they needed the head for all that. Like it just didn't make sense considering that Buddy's head was connected to the machine and he was controlling it. So I'm not. I can't even
So
remember how that was important for them to use Ghidorah's head for that.
right. So
So
no, I
you
mean,
remember, or because I don't. I don't.
well, I mean, well, it was well. What was funny to me is like how it was like. dude in a chair connected to, you know, the skull, then connected like it was
Right.
like it was, I don't know, like to me I felt like it was just that was a little bit too much. Like, what science can you bring to me that that is possible, you know, like as
Right.
far as I don't know, like how
Like
exactly
even
is
the
that possible?
vehicles, it's funny like you say that, even the vehicles, the heave vehicles. Like when did you guys get that so technologically advanced? Like where
You
does that
know?
that's what I mean. Like there's so much in this movie that is like, yo, y'all really just forcing this stuff down our throats, like just
So,
force feeding us this stuff.
oh yeah, and definitely. And so for me it was like
Or how did they
uh
get the skull? How did they get the skull head? Because we know it was Buddy at the end, from the King of the Monsters movies that had it. So it's like, when did you guys get the
right,
head? You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, so, and this is why I beg the question. The question that comes to my mind is there more to this movie? Is there a Snyder cut version of this movie? You know what I
Like
mean?
right, like are we right?
Is there an ultimate edition that
Right,
we
like
could be
it's
seeing?
like did someone along the lines just mess up someone else's movie again? Like did it like,
Right.
history repeat itself again?
Because it is under the same company. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
man.
who knows, man? Warner Brothers has just got a bad track record right now of
And then
milling
like
movies.
what's crazy to me, dude, like it's like, okay, like you made these guys seem so powerful. Now mind you, all the mechas from Godzilla's were so powerful that they had their own movie, right? How
Hmm.
did this Mecha Godzilla die that fast? You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't really have a real chance. Like, all right, King Kong got him by surprise. All right, cool, element of surprise. But come on, like, like he had so much more. What do you call it? Like specs. You know, he had so much stuff more. You know, besides the beam, he actually had other weapons like rockets. You know, like, but I'm pretty physically he could use his tail as well too. You know, just as Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
this guy like had no fighting chance. Like, and then at that, like, see, like, then that person dies, right? Like right in the chair, and then now this Mecha Godzilla is controlling itself, right?
Right.
Like,
Well,
so
see,
now
this
you
is
would
the
think
part where
with
I was like trying to make sense of, because I was like, wait, sorry, what is it? And this is what I was trying to make sense. And like, so you guys did like a combination of it's Mecha Godzilla, but it's actually Ghidorah. So
that's
it's
what I'm
like a
saying. So that's what in my mind I was
Mecha
thinking, like, is it really
Godzilla.
Ghidorah, or or is it Mecha Godzilla? You know?
Dude, it was dude. That's what I mean. It was like a hybrid. It was like a Mecha Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
it's like,
right.
what are you guys doing here? Like, why are you guys doing this? Like, why are you guys
And like,
rushing this? Like,
and I
why do you
feel like
guys?
they could, like you said, they could all these things. They really could have, like, they could have done this if they had more uh material to it, more, movie, like more visual, like as far as, like you said, how did they get, Ghidorah's skull, how did they even how did Apex figure out that Ghidorah's skull could somehow cyber link to any,
Exactly.
what I'm saying,
How
to
they know?
this, right, or telepathically, how did they know that? And like, all right, and then again, like I said, and then like you said, like King Kong's weapon, besides the backstory that they gave us, that Kong and Godzilla has been fighting for centuries, for years, but
Right.
so but how did that weapon come about? How did, first of all, how did they even encounter each other? How did King Kong manage to come out of Skull Island by himself at a point in time? Or how did Godzilla have the chance to come into, you know what I'm saying? When
No,
they, like you
yeah,
said,
yeah.
with the heave, uh uh
The
you
heat
know
vehicle. Yeah.
with the heave units, they had to go like at some sort of like speed per, whatever it was that they had.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like again, like so if they had this uh long-lived rivalry, how in the hell, like, did they, like, when did they come meet? You know,
Right,
besides
right.
the fact that Godzilla broke the ground and somehow from there they were able to, like, that was another weird thing to me.
That way, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That kind of was. I was like, yo, I mean, that's a. And this is what I'm trying to get at. Like,
Now, I could have
here's my
sworn it was just that one area that they were talking about, the only entrance, but somehow Godzilla made a new one.
right. And okay, here's my thing. Here's my thing. Here is exactly my point. Is this is why I say like I feel the exact opposite when I in saying I feel like they had to somehow within the same confines of the same movie, though we show this guy's as an OP person, we're gonna depower him. This nigga literally tore a hole through the
Through
earth.
the through the earth, going into a whole another universe, really. Like, it's not going
Like
to the core of the earth; it's going to a whole
dude
different
went to a
like place.
whole nother hollow, whatever they called it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
hollow earth or universe, bro. Really.
right, because it's its own little world, man.
World, right? They
So
had their own system, like little ecosystem going on.
right, you know what I'm saying? Gravity, whatever, you know.
Oh
Like, yeah,
man.
bro. That's my point. You know, and then it's like you mean to tell me the Titan who got captured by humans.
So okay, now that to put it that to say it like this, if no one really captured that from the trailers, then you're at that point you were being ignorant to
That's
the
my
whole
yeah,
like
and that was
to
always my
the
but see, and I said it plenty of times. I'm like, it's gonna bother me. It's going to bother me, and this is why I'm bothered because it's exactly what I said is exactly what happened, and I said it's going to bother me if there's no good reason or logical way as to how they got Kong to get off of Skull Island because they didn't even show that, my guy.
they
You know what I mean?
didn't. They didn't.
That's
And
the
like
part
that's
that
to
blew
say
me.
that you're assuming from the last previous movies that you're gonna assume that that's what it was. But how did they even get into or how did they make such a big facility for him, Because technically what we know is actually he obviously dies, from trying to save or really he was going crazy in the city, right? But you know again, I say, and again, I say, dude, like, if you really didn't catch the fact that he was in a containment center or he was contained from the trailer, compared to the fact that Godzilla has never been tamed or contained,
Right,
like that, you're really just being ignorant. You really don't, I mean, you're just being a fan of King Kong, and I get it. I get it.
right,
Like, I'm a fan of Flash, and I believe he's the best Justice Leaguer, out of all of them. You know what I'm saying? And I'll spit my facts too. But,
right.
but I don't know. At that point, like I said, like that was clear to me. I saw him in a containment center. I was like, well, that shows me who's gonna win in the movie.
Right,
Right
right,
away.
yeah,
When I
exactly.
saw that right away from the
I
get,
mean, don't
that
get
was
me
my
wrong.
thought, at least.
They
I
insinuate
was
that.
almost kind of intrigued to seeing if they really were gonna have him win, on seeing how he was gonna win. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I
right,
was
right.
like, man,
Because
I really want to see how miraculously this man, just, how he wins.
no, yeah, dude, same here, bro. Like, cause like you said in the beginning, it's already you're like, okay, well, this guy's in a containment facility, and
Right, right.
then they even give it dialogue by saying, when they have the doctor like, oh, we have to keep him here because if not, like even she was afraid that he would lose to Godzilla. You know what I mean? So that kind of like they were setting the precedence of
Right.
clearly
How strong
Godzilla's
Godzilla. Yeah.
the bigger alpha.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't know, you should know now by that point, right?
Right.
Um, but again, it's like you know all that, and then it's like I mean, and look, in all fairness, though, again, I still feel the fight sequences were dope. I still feel like it does still prove, obviously, like you said, Godzilla is that guy. Let's just be honest. The first encounter, that was technically Godzilla's round. And if it wasn't for them,
Yeah.
like, doing what they did with the bombs, whatever, to which still doesn't make sense to me though. And these are the things that don't make sense. Like,
Yeah, like how
initially,
did King Kong survive that? And I know, like
exactly,
I
exactly.
thought the same thing
That
too.
part
Like this man,
makes
like
sense.
somehow, like totally, like like he's in the water. He saw all the rockets coming down, and he's like, "I'm gonna like I don't know, like do it." Like you can only you're trying to think,
Dude, right.
fathom the thought of what could have possibly happened. What maneuver did he use to escape that?
Right,
Especially the fact that he's being pulled down. And
right.
to me, like you're right, like dude, you got Godzilla that reached from Japan or wherever he was at in a matter of like seconds to wherever King Kong was at, and
Exactly.
pulling him down. Somehow like those rockets made it to him faster. Like
Yeah, I don't know. We'll never know, man. These are my pet peeves, man. Like, um,
so like
uh,
that's to me those that's why like I don't know for me like I really like realism and when it comes to things, especially when it comes down to like science, like you can have some goofy things. I'm not saying like
right,
like
right,
not have some not have Godzilla have an upper hand. Okay, cool. Like you can have an upper hand in a moment, but just but come on, when it comes to the facts, when it comes down to the science of everything, like to the T, like we know the result. Like we know
right.
the answer. Uh, and really, like with if they would have gave it time, they would have really just proven it more. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and with better facts is what
With
I'm trying
better
to say.
context behind
Yeah,
what
yeah.
we're seeing. Yeah, that's my pet peeve. Is like you guys could have done a way better job, like with the details, with the context, but you guys cut so many things that I'm convinced there is an ultimate edition of Godzilla versus Kong out there somewhere.
Right, like
I'm
now
convinced
we
that
need to do the
one
movement for them.
right, exactly. I don't know, man. Like if anybody's watching, like
Hey, right.
please,
If anybody, if this
let's
is what
release
you're trying to tell us, send us the email, send us, all the archives that they decide to
release
get
the
rid of.
Godzilla versus Kong Cup,
Talk
man.
to us. We're with you in this one.
Let's do the MonsterVerse some justice here, man.
Like, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. That's what I'm saying. I just feel like there has to be, dude. I feel Warner Brothers did it again. Those damn bandits, bro. They're freaking. They did the Edward Scissorhands treatment to this movie. I feel, man, because it's just so many things that just have no explanation. Like what? You
So
know?
wait, what? I can't really recall because I haven't watched Godzilla in freaking forever,
Uh
and but doesn't Godzilla have a son after defeating Ghidorah?
huh. No, in King of the Monsters, I don't
Oh, is it?
recall that.
mm, Or man, it could have probably been a parody, man. But that was.
Maybe unless you're thinking like Godzilla, the one that came out like in 1999, I think, or 2000, the American version of Godzilla,
I think so. I
where
think
he,
so. I remember
where
like they ended up
TNT,
giving him
whatever
a
it was.
son and
Yeah.
everything. He ended up going home to his like baby Godzilla.
Oh man, unless you're watching like the old films, maybe, man.
I
Maybe I
swear,
wouldn't
I
know.
swear,
I
I
just
swear
know
on
that
everything.
the only ones that I remember actually having the kids was
Unless
in.
if I was even having a dream about it, so maybe that. I could have sworn, I could have sworn I've seen
Uh,
that, and holy cow, I am sorry for the fans, true fans of Godzilla. I just could have sworn, but
No, that's
Regardless, I'm on
hilarious.
Godzilla's team, guys.
Right, go on. I was
don't, don't stone me yet. Don't stone me
right,
yet.
right.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, dude. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Like I said, the only kids I know that I've ever seen Godzilla with was in that old Godzilla movie way back in the day. I think it was like 1999 or 2000, and it was like the American version of Godzilla because it wasn't even like it had atomic breath. It was like a mutated not experiment. It was like a lizard, like whatever, like animals were on this island that they did some atomic testing on, and there was lizards, and apparently those one of those lizards survived and turned into this big giant dinosaur-looking Godzilla thing.
Oh
And
man, I really like wonder if it's that, right? I gotta
yeah,
check it out now.
no, yeah, like I said, it was a very Americanized version of it. Like definitely not anything close to the actual like lore behind it. But it was still pretty
Right,
interesting at the time. I remember seeing it and I was scared because I was a kid, so and
right, no,
that
right. I
roar
mean,
like gets me every time, bro. Like,
yeah, at that
you
time,
know,
that technology was like that could have happened. That was real. That
yeah, oh
was
yeah.
that
There was
was
matter of fact, dude, it was like dude, there was one time where I remember like I was little, right, and like in the distance of where I lived, there was like this like this tall, big structure. It's not. It wasn't a building. It was like buildings with like pipes or something. But like from the distance, like when it was nighttime in the shadows, it looked like a creature from far away, and I thought it was
what
Godzilla,
the?
bro. I thought it was
Oh man.
Godzilla because of how it looked in the shadows of at night. You know what I mean?
I hope no one trips on that, right? Like someone like decides to like take
I'm
some
sure
like,
someone must have tripped on it once upon a time
oh
because
shit, it's Godzilla,
I was sober and
and you're
I thought
tripping.
that what I'm saying, and I was tripping. So uh
That's funny. Oh man.
it's funny actually. I remember one time I like me and my boys way back in the day when I was doing my thing. Dude was so blasted. We were driving and he looked into the forest and he could have sworn he seen
Stop.
what's the Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
That's all he
Oh
kept saying. Like,
man.
yo, I see Bigfoot, man. I see Bigfoot.
Oh, that's tough,
We were
man.
dying laughing, man, because we're like, we would look and we don't see anything. But
Right, no,
buddy,
like I mean, like you're intrigued by the thought of his
right, like
mindset.
that's
Like,
right,
well,
yeah, like yo, really?
like what? What?
Could
Like,
there be? You
right. Can we have discovered him?
Yeah, like Buddy made it all the way to Illinois and one of our forest preserves. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
Oh man, yeah, but yeah, all that to say though, yeah, I think they could have built on this, and then to kind of end on, I guess the thing that I mentioned in the beginning were like such a dope intro, right? Like that's one thing I'll say about like these, uh, I guess this universe that they started building with the first Godzilla movie, then with the Skull Island, and then King of the Monsters. They do have this like cool thing of like putting pieces of like news sightings, newspapers, or old caveman wall
Yeah,
drawings.
like all the writings and
Yeah, they do that. It's so it's kind of cool, right? And so they did this one in this film too. All talking about like kind of like refreshing our memory on Kong with Skull Island,
right.
Godzilla and his movies, right? But this is the part that bothered me because it's like, okay, again, we're supposed to all be hyped about these two guys facing each other, right? So then it's funny because like they do this whole like bracket thing, right?
Right. Yeah,
Of
oh,
like
yeah, yeah. With
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
with all the
All the
time. Like,
monsters that Godzilla has, beaten, and then they get to Kong, and they couldn't even give homie a bracket. He had like two boxes, maybe three, but they couldn't even show you because it's like he's never really faced any of the kaiju other than the skull crawlers. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I think to myself, like, wait, did you guys like just make believe that this guy faced other titans? You know what I mean? Like other kaiju or something? Like,
Right.
so, and that's what I
Oh,
mean. Like,
I didn't even spot that. I could have even sworn that the like when I
right.
actually could have sworn that it was the skull crawlers that that they had like with the boxed out with him, like showing the
But
points. I
if
thought
they
it was
did, my point to that is like, you guys really gave this guy two boxes because he faced small skull crawlers and then a big skull crawler?
like right,
And
like
then,
yeah, I know that's the
and that's what I mean.
again.
Like, guys got
Yeah,
no feet. You know what I mean?
yeah, again, like I said, like 42 0 and 0,
Exactly.
0 1 and 1. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. This is
It's
definitely what that
like
was. You know, you got Godzilla, Mayweather, King Kong, Logan Paul.
you
It's
know
a
what,
sad
man?
story, man.
I think I think I should just contact Mike Tyson myself, man. I think this is how it works, right? Like I think this is how the world wants to interpret this now, huh? Like scores don't matter no more.
They don't. They don't. You know, it's like I said, dude. I don't know, man. You know,
But
don't
I
get me
gotta say
wrong.
one
Like,
thing, like
yeah, go ahead.
besides, we know, like, this has nothing to do with the movie, but besides, because again, like, one word, you already know who's gonna win between Godzilla and King Kong, and then like I want to say the same thing, between Mayweather and
Logan Paul.
and Logan Paul, right? Like, but imagine like it is like a whole switch up somehow, like history literally like
Dang.
just changes on us. Like, what the? I mean, to me, like, I wouldn't even be so bothered. It would be shocking to see, but
It would be shocking, but at the
it'd be
same time,
super shocking.
maybe
But I
not. You
wouldn't
know
be
what I'm saying?
bothered because of really well. And this is my theory or argument or my opinion. It's really because of age and retirement. That's the only reason why I would be like, whoa. But you know, yeah,
Right.
honestly, it like if King Kong would have won, I would have been like, whoa, like that's
If he would have won, I would have definitely been like, "Get out of here!" Like that's just
like,
so not even.
I would have, that would have been a lot of calls
I would
towards
have definitely right. No, I definitely would have graded that movie like way. I would have given it a D or an F.
I would have
In my
given it
opinion.
like a, yeah, no, me too. I would have given it like
That
a
would have
definitely
deserved no F.
one, like all the way, like not even a 1.5, just a one. Yeah, for real, it would have went that way, like because it's like Mayweather and Logan Paul. That's real life, and I mean, I guess inevitable can happen, but
The question there really is Mayweather being retired, has he stopped training? You know what I mean?
true, and no, and
Um,
that right. That's to say that right. Like, has he? And like, because really, we all
I
know,
mean,
or
look at Mike
if we,
Tyson, bro. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying? Like,
oh, to put it this way, like to put it more into perspective, like what we know, or well, for those who watch the world of boxing, is Mayweather is a gym junkie. You know what I'm saying? So like, I guess we'll see,
we'll see.
see how this works. Like
We will see.
we'll see
Look,
how the gym life is. you
how it
know.
really is.
How it affects the human life, right?
Right,
We'll see how
exactly.
the healthy lifestyle of a person could
Okay, well,
it,
then here's the question. Here's the question. Obviously, prior to this movie, the question was, are you Team Godzilla or Team Kong? You said Team Godzilla. I went Team
right.
Godzilla. So the question now here is Team Mayweather, Team Paul, who you going for?
I have to go to see Mayweather. Uh, I just he's my generation, but even the fact that he's your generation, he's still my generation, right?
Okay.
Uh, Logan Paul is also my generation. Is I guess you could say Logan Paul is more of my generation, but you could. Uh, I met the Logan, or I'll put it this way: I met the Paul brothers, in high school. And I've been knowing Mayweather before them. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been a
Right.
fighter before that, so
Well, yeah, and I think
that's
overall,
why I will put my money every day, any day on Mayweather, and only
Money
for the fact
Mayweather.
because, like you said, look at Mike Tyson, and if you see that fight between uh, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., like no offense to Roy Jones Jr. because he's a great fighter as well, but like man, you could tell that Mike Tyson did some damage, and like no one wants to talk about that, but he definitely did. And I could tell you this much: this is the first fight that I've seen. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's been fights that people have done, like have seen, but this is my first fight that I have seen that a person has fought, and then at the post-fight interview, or as they're talking, man is holding his ribs the whole entire time because Mike Tyson did him damage. Even after going into locker rooms, after changing, even with news reporters interviews, even with that, you still see the man holding his ribs. So you know that
Right.
this man went home like sleeping in pain. So I mean, what I'm thinking is like Mike Tyson is one of the greatest freaking fighters of the heavyweight, and I believe that Mayweather is that to the welterweight. So
Right. Right.
I don't think I don't think that's ever gonna be taken away from him. And if
For
it
sure.
really
For sure.
takes, if this man takes it away, that is gonna be the most weirdest moment in history for sure. That's
You know, right. I'll say this much. If Don King was still around, I wouldn't put it past, and if Don King was in Paul's corner.
Oh man. Oh
but
man.
but I'm in agreement with you, Team Mayweather. Never liked him as a person, but as a boxer, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do feel there's fights he cheated on, or I feel were rigged, you know.
Mm,
But not here to discuss that. I mean, at the end of the day, that doesn't mean I think he's a horrible fighter. I think he's a great fighter. He's proved his worth against many fighters. But at the same time, I do feel there are fights that he did rob, but um, overall, I think experience beats
all day.
all
All
day.
day.
You know what I'm saying? So
All
he's got
day.
the experience. He's by right. He was a pound for pound champion for a reason. He's only been retired for like what, a year or two.
Two, yeah. I think yeah.
So it's not like he's been in retirement for such a long time. And as we said, like this guy's known to be a guy to still stay in shape. You know, so I don't see why he won't do his thing. So it's Team Mayweather here. Um, you know, he's proved his worth, pound for pound champion. Logan Paul, who the hell's he? You know what I mean? Uh,
Hey
you
man.
know, it's like he's trying to be like another Kimbo Slice is what he's trying to be, in my opinion. I'm gonna do
Like
my thing against all these nobodies. To prove a point that
well
I belong in the cage or in the ring, and it's like,
again, well
you know
it
what I mean?
comes down to it definitely comes down to the experience, like Kimbo Slice, yeah, he had experience fighting and on the streets, and like that's to say that all the opponents that he fought on the street, like
Weren't
they
fighters.
probably talked about being fighters, bro, but come on, like, not
You
a
could
lot of
tell
people
they
talk.
weren't.
They're fakes, bro. A lot of people are fake, bro. Like,
There
so,
was like one fight I saw that actually gave him a run for his money, but that guy was like a trained, not a fighter. I think he was like a cop. So cops do
but I
train
mean,
in combat. You know what I mean? So that was the only fight that I ever saw. Like, you know, Kimbo have a run for his money. But you know, I think this fight should be just like what we saw in Godzilla versus Kong. Uh, Godzilla's the king of the monster. Mayweather was the pound for pound champion. I'm giving the W to Mayweather.
Yeah, all day for me too.
All right, all right. Well, I know you got to get going.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, at this point, I was looking for my charger to see if I could survive with you, but it looks like I'm gonna die. Looks like my phone's gonna die. So, I mean, yeah, man. It was.
Tomorrow
I'm
we'll
glad.
probably get into this again. So like, if you're down, you forgot the time, definitely would be good to have you on so we can bring our points, back on the table with the other guys. Probably even have more stuff to talk about.
Definitely, man. I'm
Um,
excited. I'm excited. I'm hoping to hear some King Kong fans, to be honest, just to
right.
get the
How they
argument, you
feel.
know,
Yeah,
how they
yeah,
feel, right? Because I like fire. You know what I'm saying? Like you play with it, then eventually got to put it out. but but it'll be interesting to hear exactly like you said, just to see what arguments they have, for
for
themselves for
sure.
for King Kong, I should say.
For sure. All right, cool, boo. Guess a boo. That's how you know I'm
All
tired
right,
over here.
boo. Nah, hey, nah, I feel you, man. It's
Yeah,
it's it's already that time too over here.
yeah, man. Yeah, but again, good having you on, bro.
Appreciate you having
You
me.
got time tomorrow? Come on.
You
Um,
already know. You already know.
guys, you already know what it is. Team Godzilla over Team Kong any day, every day of the week. That
Yes,
atomic bomb
sir.
joke. Don't put some respect on Godzilla's name. All right, put some respect
Please,
on it. All right,
please.
he is the king of the monsters for a reason. All right, so that's just the way it goes.
That's just the way it
Again,
goes.
if you have your own comments you want to share, maybe you disagree. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're Team Kong. Maybe you feel he deserves respect. Maybe you feel that there was an injustice to how they played him. You know, uh, whatever it is you feel and think about this movie, just go ahead and add them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. Like, subscribe, share. We're trying to grow this community, trying to get into conversations, even with y'all in the chats. So,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
feel free to join in and chime in.
Oh, don't
Um,
forget to explain Saturday, man.
oh yes, yes, yes. Before I get off, we are gonna be doing a music segment where we're going to be getting together with other artists, even ourselves, because we are artists ourselves.
Yes,
And
sir.
if music is your thing, feel free to join in. Pretty much just trying to show love to all our local underground artists that are doing their thing, doing their grind, especially during this time of COVID where you had nothing else better to do but to be in the stew and bring some fire. So
Right.
this is, an opportunity we want to just give them to like showcase what they got going, what they're doing, how they're working, and upcoming projects they got going on, as well as ourselves. So again, tune in. We're hoping to have something for you guys every day. That's the goal. But we're trying to add in something on Saturdays as well, calling it um,
Saturday
Saturdays.
sounds.
Yeah, Saturday Sounds. So yes, if you have the time on Saturday, tune in, chime in, or watch it afterwards. Either way, again, just like, share, and subscribe to our channels. Give us the follows, and comments, man,
Comments, comments. We're
comments.
reading that. We're reading those. So
We are. So, with that being said, guys, much love. God bless. Peace out. See you later.
peace.
Bam.